Hey folks, it's Ben. We're here with a cool another assembly video. Last year, and I'll forget to link to the video right now, we assembled a gazebo and we got it fairly inexpensively at Canadian Tire, and it was kind of a proof of concept unit, so there's an assembly video for that. This year we liked it, so okay, cool, let's go ahead and spend a little bit more money on it. So we bought this guy here. It's a steel leaf gazebo, but it's got the cool little wildflower design that you see right there. It's also red, comes with screening and with curtains, so it's actually got both of those things there. What we found with our pole design is that it needed more support, so these are actually two steel pieces that go together to make a corner on each side, so hopefully that's a little bit more durable. It's imported by that company there. We bought it online at lowes.ca. It was an online only item, but it was the right color. The reviews were mixed. Some say the build quality is poor, others say it works fine. The issue being is that it fades really bad, so we'll have to get back to you in that regard. But for now, let's do an assembly video. So we'll do actually an unboxing and assembly video. So let's get to that. We have no tools with us right now, so you'll see them as we bring them out. First thing obviously is either a knife or some scissors. So what we're primarily going to do, I think, on this assembly is take everything out of the box and have it laid out, and then we'll be able to read the instructions. And I know that from our previous experiences that this is going to be the top, because the top lives on that part.
Pieces are the roof, yeah.
It looks like this is a track, so I think our screening and our
running a track instead of on a...
Might run in a track instead, but we'll see when we get there. That being said, there's 4 of them.
There's a lot of pieces. Oh, look at that.
Here's our instruction sheet. We'll hide right there. I believe that's it. You just get a visual. So this video might be handy for those who like to be able to see how things go out. I'm guessing we've got curtains and we've got a roof here in fabric.
Yep. That one's probably the curtains. It's bigger.
Right.
And then that's the screen.
Well,
that's some pieces.
These are pieces.
Come in a nice little bag.
In a bag, because here's the screens. With red trim.
Red trim, very nice.
And then it looks like we have the 8 base pieces.
Yeah, those are really cool.
So we'll lean these up against the house, because I thought the box was as tall as it was going to be. So we don't actually have any up and down assembly, which is nice. So here's our instructions for those of you who have lost yours already. Looks like we got 4 of those pieces, a variety of screws, 4 of those, 4 of those, 4 of those, and then assorted connection hardware. Looks like 4 of each of those are the bunch of whatever those are. Velcro clips, I guess. That they sit on the tracks.
Yep, the little bubble thingies that hang in the tracks.
Yep.
It was just the one page.
Yep. We'll take a photo of this and link to it somewhere, I guess. And that way, if you do need a copy of it, or scan it and do that. So let's put the box away and start getting assembling. Our treat bag here is a knot that I can't get undone.
Those are the little bubbles for the curtains and...
Here are the bolts.
Yep, the bolts. All neatly labeled with little letters for the baggies. Some metal pieces. Some more metal bolt pieces. There, I can undo that. I'm going to undo the knot.
Maybe. I'm not. Way too lazy for that.
Oh yeah, okay, that's the cap.
Yep. Oh, it does. Pigs for the garden.
Yeah. Hey, we can use those.
Because we'll end up screwing it back. These are obviously corner pieces. In theory, everything should be in 4s.
I hope so.
So the bag is now empty and dirty. We got 4 of those arrows, maybe 8 of these.
Yep.
These are 8 of those. Or whatever these are.
Or those will do this.
One cap, and then a whole variety of screws. Yeah, the tent pegs go there, which will be our screws. And a variety of eyes for
it shows it, kind of. It shows that you did the corners first.
A, B, C, D. I guess we follow the alphabet.
Oh, that would make sense.
A, B, and C.
Yeah.
There's the 8s. I see what they've done. They just use one center rail between the pieces and use the top pieces as as a connection there. So the roof is last.
And then, yeah, you put up the roof last.
So that's what we're going to do. We'll build the base and then we'll build the roof while standing on chairs because we're not all that tall. Sweet.
Speak for yourself.
Yes.
So, according to this, we need the I screw, and it screws A and B together and the corner pieces on. So,
Well's already broken on that one.
2 different places. That's not cool.
Going?
Yeah.
So we're designing the panels first, and so we have essentially 3 components here. We've got 2 panels, but note that the leaves, if you notice how they're welded, go on the outside, so that faces outside, and that there are 2 different panels. And you can tell by up top here, they're meant to have a bolt go through a hole. So these holes line up to go through, and on the base down here, those, you know, they'll be different. You don't want to put the same panel because then they'll just be, the holes will both be on the outside. But as you can see, these have holes that will line up. So there are 2 different kinds. The leaves go on the outside, and that lets this third bracket here, our corner piece, that sits way up here. It also has a special, just the 1 hole, and that should line up with these, and that's where you know that you've got them correctly. So we've got these 2 pieces here, all our holes line up. So now we can assemble them. In fact, we'll probably put all 4 corners together before we move on to the next step.
Using the eye bolts.
These are the, yeah, because they need to be extra thick to go through both pieces.
Super long ones.
Yeah. Cool. So on our connections here, it shows the eye bolt. That's cool. And then it also and then through deduction, you notice on our ingredients list here, we have 12 eye, 12 of that one, and 12 of that one, and we have 36 of these peanuts. But there's actually no bag of peas, but we do have a bag of R's, and R is actually called these big pieces. So I'm guessing that the bag of R's are actually a bag of peas. So there you go. And we have 36 of these washers as well. Yeah, there's an R, but there's also a part that's R. So it's good English. So we'll assume that that's how that works. There's 36 of everything. So there's our setting there. So we're just going to go ahead and assemble all 4 corners using the eye bolts and then a nut and a washer. And we'll finger tight everything at this point. That way we'll have a little bit of adjustment if we need to, and we'll get the 4 corners built. Here's our corner assembly. So we've used so far 3 bolts, 1 there, 1 here, 1 here. This is still a little wiggly because it's got 2 more bolts to go with it, but we've done that times 4. Now looking at our design, it appears like fabric is last. So that means we're assembling the roof first. Everything's hand tight because we need a little bit of wiggle room, but like there are a lot more bolts in the corners here to hold these corner brackets. But this is where it becomes completely a 2-person job, I think. I think in the prior one we were able to assemble the roof, and then we raised it and put the base under it. In this case we built the base, and now we're going to assemble the roof on it. So you either need a chair or a ladder and someone in the middle, and then you need someone on the ground to run around and hand stuff off. And we'll try to get the 4 corner pieces in first. We're using the little E-bolts, which are the tiny guys, through the poles, because this G piece slides into our little corner bracket here, and it gets a little E-bolt. And then on the top though, using our big K piece, we go back to these letter J bolts. And once again a nut, and these are the slightly bigger ones there. And so we're going to try to assemble all 4 of those before we put in our connecting rails between the corners. So that's the part you'll see next. So we have our fork set up. Once again, everything's hand tight, and there's a lot more bracketry that goes on. Like there's a lot more tie in here, but we just don't have that in yet because we wanted to get our pieces. So are we doing the crossovers next?
Yeah.
So our next section here for the instructions, or how we're deciding to do it, is we're going to install the cross section here, which means we need to put 6 of these little sliders.
12
12
on each one.
Yeah, there's 2 tracks. Each of these cross dividers has 2 tracks in it, so you have to put 6 in each one for all the 4 pieces. So we're gonna get that in, and we're gonna drop those in, and they also use these brackets, one on each corner. I'm guessing this, yeah, this hugs the corner and this hugs the bracketry, and lots of screws, and we'll do that for all the corners there, and then our additional roof support connects to the center beam there, and then we'll be mostly assembled, I think, at that point.
Yep.
And we'll cinch everything down. Right now everything's still really hand tight, as tight as we could, but still just hand tight. They're going pretty easy.
Yep.
And that's going to hold our curtains and our screens. This piece was, so what we learned is that you pretty much want to do these one at a time. You can't like preset them up and then put the screws in. What you can pre-do is the brackets to the centerpiece here. Like that's got that little piece. You can pre-do those and pre-do the hooks. You have to pre-do the hooks. There's not enough to get them hooked on there. And like we're kind of mishmash on our, I guess how we put these on there. We're trying to put all the bolt heads on the outside, but we got that one backwards. Anyway, so what we did find out is that we're short 4 of these. So there's supposed to be 2 here, so I'm gonna have to go to my shop and get some fill-ins there, but we're actually short those fasteners. And then we're same on this side. We can't see it because of the sun. And we're also on the other side there, so we just put those all in. Wasn't thinking about that, but this is a good view to hit. So now we have them all hand snugged in again. Everything's hand snug, and it also squares you up quite a bit. So everything's on the flat on the ground now. We have our roof. So next piece, I think next and last piece outside of adding the extra bolts, is we have to do from the center down to the center. There is a, how's it fasten on? There's got to be a hole or something.
There's a hole right here.
There's a hole dead center, and this bracket here goes where that goes, and then it shoots up to the center there, and that's what these 4 straight poles are going to be for. And that'll be everything. So we'll put those up. So for extra hardware, we ended up with a bunch of the large nuts and bolts. Lots of washers, things like that, an extra plastic piece even. And we're not using the little legs to sit stuff down with. That being said, I had to use some of these. It's all I had in stock. They're just a machine screw. They're a little long. Because we're short 3 of the little guys here. They did have a spare for us, so, but the other ones, we'll just use these. They're bright. They don't quite look right. So everything's in. And don't forget, and I didn't film this part, we also came in and put these side bolts in. Put them in when you put the corner in. You're not killing yourself doing that. Saving them to the end didn't help us in terms of alignment of things, which is what we're doing now. We're gonna wiggle the floor pieces. I guess you could technically measure, but whatever. We're gonna just wiggle them so we de-strain everything as best we can, and probably work my way down tightening it all. So I've got the ratchets and sockets and wrenches. So the tightening is complete. We got all the 8 up there that are done, and all these 4 supports here. This is a pain because I have a closed-ended wrench I was using and a socket, and it doesn't get in there very well. So if you had an open-end wrench, 8mm to hold those, that would be much better. Not an adjustable one, but an actual specific one would be handy. FYI, the provided wrenches I don't even know what they work for. They're both the same size, so that doesn't help you. Maybe it'll work for these big ones. Yeah, it's a 10 millimeter, so awesome on that. But they gave us 2 10s, and half of these bolts are 8s, so that's not super helpful either. So now we're dealing with, we have 3 things here, right? Well, we have several, but we have the top roof material, which is that right there. And then we have probably the roof. Yep. And then we have the screens and the side. So the last manual that we had told us exactly what order to build things. So we did the top first. We actually built the other one, the entire top first, and then we put it up on its legs. But we're changing that around. So let's go ahead and tripod, and you can watch us suffer with this. That ended up being fairly straightforward. There's 4 little corner pockets on the top piece here, and they just kind of pull tight onto the top. And then this next piece, you open it up, and these Velcro straps obviously are going to be on the inside. So you just kind of lay it over and make sure it flops over the top. There's no physical securing between the screen of the top piece and this. It just kind of lays on top there. And you pull it over all 4 corners. And so there's 2 Velcro pieces here, and Velcro piece here, and then one in the center. Reviews also said that these Velcro straps are weak sauce. So we'll see how they last up too. They say right there, like this, the stitching will rip out, which we'll see how that goes. My wife's a seamstress, so maybe we can fix something on that pretty good, but make sure that these are nice and tight in, and that it's pulled down as tight as it can go. And that the more taut it is, it also provides a little bit of structure for the structure too, right? Going around next. So next the other note to say is because this is straps in the center, you want to push half of your hangers over on each side because it won't typically travel beyond center. My wife was noting, why wouldn't they put the strap on this side? But I'm wondering if they did that so that if these guys get to the end, they don't fall out. So maybe that's why that's that way. So now we've got the curtains. Is it screen or are they separate pieces?
They're separate pieces.
They're separate pieces. And is it just hooks or something? How is it hooking up to the hooks here?
They are little tabs.
Okay.
And we hook the hooks into the little tabs.
Hook the hooks in the little tabs.
And then there's also Velcro.
Extra material on the ends for the, so it'll cluster here and then have the center part there. And so you can pull it all. Okay, cool. You'll see it when we get it set up. But yeah, we're just gonna hook it up in Velcro, and away we go. So what we've successfully done is created a small oven, because wow, is it hot in here now with the sun glaring down. They're all zipped together ahead of time, so it's a big loop of fabric. It's fairly heavy, but you Velcro the corners in like such, like they loop there, and then you, on the outside line of hooks, we hook the material there. So nothing to hold the bottoms down, no even Velcro corners here. And there are these little ties, which if you ever are able to see red again, that'd be neat. It's all black and white right now to me.
Looks like there's a tie on the outside too.
Oh, there's a tie maybe on the outside. Okay, and then we'll tie that to the structure to keep that back. And nope, we've got a red cat in here now too. So yeah, we'll tie those back, and we'll unzip one at least so we don't cook ourselves to death. And we'll put the screen up, which I'm guessing is identical to
exactly the same. Yeah.
Except we'll use the inner hooks on the way here. And okay, let's do that. Last structural thing we've got to complete. Almost forgot to shoot this part. So we have these peg holes here for the ground where the little stakes in the ground would go. We're gonna just take a small screw and screw that to the deck. That way it won't move on us if it gets significantly gusty here. So there's one on each leg times the 8 legs, and that will secure it down as well. And we were thinking also bungees might help in keeping these back and against the metal material. So anyway, we're not sure on the straps if they tie to the outside of the building, which they probably don't, or if they're like two independents that let you tie the strap in. But either way, that's how the assembly goes, essentially. It's fairly straightforward. I guess you could get it upside down. No, you couldn't, because all the fasteners are on top there. And they fit on the inside. So the wall makes it very red in here with the sun. But that's what you get when you buy red gazebo, right? And the kitty's white again, so we're winning there. So that's the assembly, essentially. If you have any questions, ask them early, because in 2, 5, 10, 15 years, we're going to forget. We'll see how the endurance of this unit goes as well. No Velcro holding down the roof along the seams. That's different than the other one. And just little Velcro. We'll see how the walls do and how the roof does. We expect water to pool here. That's how they go. That's what gazebos do. Unless you have a hard roofed one, which would be the next level up for us, I guess, would be hard roofed. But mainly what we're looking at is we were having a lot of stability of it, the roof blowing that way or this way or whatever way, and we're hoping that these larger end pieces will help with that. Plus aesthetically they look nice as well. So if you have any question, ask them. Any comments, like you built one and it sucks, or you built one and it's great, leave those too. And subscribe to our channel, Red Barn Homestead. This is really red. Of course, it's supposed to match the barn, and eventually when we paint these outbuildings as well. But for now, we'll catch you later. See you next time. Bye, Leo.